perfect life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Talk. Peggy's wasn't going to be able to do the intro, so I'm going to go ahead and take the host job just for a little bit here. Thank
So
you
funny.
for joining us. Thank you for. She cannot get over the fact that as the
But it's
host,
still
she is,
there.
and it's still there. She is the host of the show. I don't understand how she doesn't understand that that's how it works. But
Yeah.
of course, the Empress of Marvel Talk is up in the top. Peggy is here. We've got
Hello.
2/3 at least of Andre C. And of course, I'm still here. I'm OLED at Fries. We got Bobby in the chat. Hello, my friends. How are you all doing today? I don't have to resort to the hard stuff tonight, so I'm good.
That was a wild
Your
night.
your haterade is good enough.
My general haterade is good enough for tonight. I don't have to resort to, as STG called it, the extreme haterade.
Yes, it was the extreme haterade yesterday.
The adult haterade.
Mm-hmm. The high
It was-
octane haterade, as it were.
Yes, indeed high octane, indeed adult. But it was well deserved, as you know, Shawn Michaels tried to make my life miserable last night, so it is what it is. He purposely tried to affect me personally.
Yeah.
I had to see Lola Vice. JC Jane won the women's championship.
What's
Ethan
wrong with
Page
Lola
won.
Vice now?
I don't have enough time on the show to explain what's wrong with Lola Vice.
There's nothing wrong.
But
with
safe
Lola
to
Vice.
say,
that's what
lots.
it is. There's nothing wrong with Lola Vice. She is.
We got a good
she's-
friend, Eric in the chat here saying, hello, pals, love Marvel, as we cut
Hello,
off
Eric.
Andre about Lola.
Lola Vice.
But before we get to talking about Spider-Man Homecoming, the MCU Rebound episode for tonight, we do have a bit of news on the Marvel front that we should be addressing beforehand.
Dun dun dun.
Last week, Marvel pushed back both Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars from May 1st, 2026 and May 7th, 2027, respectively, back almost 8 months to December 18th, 2026 for Doomsday and December 17th, 2027 for Avengers Secret Wars. In the place of the May 1st, we are now going to get Devil Wears Prada 2. Which, to me, is fantastic, because that means I still get to go to the movies on May 1st.
Kate, I got a question. Do I have to have seen the first one, second one?
You should see the first one because it's fantastic, but I don't
haven't,
think you
so-
need to. And by the way, for those that are just think I'm just speaking, just random stuff, That matters because Stanley Tucci is in that, so it's Marvel adjacent.
I'm really curious why they pushed them. Have they said? Because usually the Marvel movies are the big kickoffs for the summer, right? Which is the beginning of May is the big kickoff for the movies for the summer. So I'm really curious why they moved them. I mean, don't get me wrong, the holiday season is also huge, but it's not May.
Yeah, so basically nobody knows exactly why they were done. However, everybody is speculating we're now at the end of May. They've just started filming for Avengers Doomsday. And that's a rushed thing to have they would have less than a year to have the full and complete movie done and dusted. And they would have to have it probably in 6 months because you imagine they would have to have an almost finished copy by at least January.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because again, you want to see them. Again, it's the Russos are crafting this 2-part adventure. You want to see them craft it well. You don't want to see them kind of go, weird and fuck anything up. So yeah, I have no true issue with this. It's like, let them cook.
I was just going to
Whatever.
say what STG was saying. As a gamer, everyone's like, oh, they're running from GTA 6.
Yeah. My thing here is the more time, the better. Because this isn't a Blade thing where they're like, we don't know what's going on. They're not dropping writers. They're not dropping directors. They're just saying we need more time to make this movie. End of story, nothing else. If we hear in a week the Russos are off the projects, then we can start panicking and going, okay, something's really wrong. But as of right now, I think this might simply just be that everybody realized we need a bit more time on this. And they're not filming back to back this time, like they did with Infinity War and Endgame. So they'll need in between. So while they're not filming this, remember, a lot of this potential cast, there are some people in this cast that are rumored to potentially be in this that need time off the rest of this year to film other things and to promote other things. Tom Holland especially, which is the real funny thing about this, is the unannounced currently Tom Holland has innumerous things to promote, but most importantly, he has Odysseus to promote.
What?
Because they're doing about the Iliad, and him and Zendaya are both in it along with Matt Damon, and it's littered with fantastic people. But it is releasing, I believe, either at the end of the summer or the beginning of fall. So he'll need to be done filming this to be able to be on the press tour to make sure that he's ready to go for that. So if he's in
the Iliad or the Odyssey?
I think it's the Odyssey, but it might be.
Okay. I thought you said the Iliad. That's why I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the Odyssey.
I think it's the same thing.
Oh.
I didn't read the books. I haven't read the books since high school. I've been out of high school for a bit.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
That's a mood right there.
Mermaids, sirens, a guy on a boat for about 20 years.
Oh, the Simpsons thing.
Yes.
No, well, yes, but no. That's not what we're talking about. But yes, that was parody.
Homer Odysseus. It's Homer Odysseus. Okay, Homer Odysseus. Okay, I know what we're talking about now.
Yes, Astrid, you need a clip of Andre saying, I have no idea what we're talking about, and just play it for everything. Like everything.
I really had no idea until I realized it was the Simpsons thing, and then I realized what it is. I apologize. But Simpsons has done everything. There's a reference for Simpsons for everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yes, but that's because the Simpsons are the Simpsons. They've done everything. On top
Simpsons
of
are my age.
On top of announcing that we are moving back and delaying the 2 Avengers movies that are coming out, Marvel also snuck in this announcement. There are 3 untitled movies that were saved dates for Marvel movies on February 13th, 2026, November 6th, 2026, November 5th, 2027. The February 13th, 2026 date is now set to be is gone completely. It is completely removed from the Disney schedule. They no longer have a hold on that date. November 6th, 2026 and November 5th, 2027 have both been turned into an untitled Disney movie instead of an untitled Marvel project.
Well,
that,
if they move
that-
the Marvel
that makes
movies
sense.
to December, you don't want to put them back to back with another Marvel movie, right? So
I agree. But the question is, what movies were we getting in those 3 slots that we're now no longer getting? Because
Or
they
push.
haven't, yeah, or push that we have, because the fact that they haven't announced what those movies were, you have to imagine one of them, and I'm going to say this for everything that ever gets pushed and we don't know what it is. One of them has to be Blade, right? One of these would have
Black
had
Panther
to have
2?
been at some point Blade. I think Black Panther
Or Black
3
Panther
is
3?
going.
Sorry?
I think Black Panther 3 is going to take an earlier slot. I don't think it's going to get pushed later. I think with everything getting moved around, because there's still one untitled Marvel spot that is still on the schedule.
Like, I feel like Black Panther 3 would have been the November 2026 date, because that would have been in between Doomsday and
I can see
Secret
that.
Wars. That's what I was thinking. So,
yeah. And the other big thing to note about the moving of the dates is that Brand New Day Spider-Man 4 will now be before Avengers Doomsday, as opposed to sandwiched in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Provided
Meaning
it
that-
doesn't get bumped.
I don't think it will, because of the fact that Sony has some incredible logistical issues that they have to do. They have to start filming the movie by the end of the year.
Mhm.
And this movie has to be released by the fall of 2026, or they lose the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I don't think Sony is going to make that mistake.
yeah, okay. I understand what you're saying, but Sony, if Marvel wants that movie in between, Marvel will let them do it. Marvel won't hold to that. If Marvel wants the movies to run in continuity in Doomsday, Spider-Man, Secret Wars, Marvel will let them off the hook for that. They won't pull that shit. If they want to keep continuity, if they don't need to keep the continuity, we're good. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't have to, we don't worry.
It's going to
about it.
depend on the storyline. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all rumors right now point to, and again, more news coming out this last week or so. We are looking at potentially Scorpion and Mr. Negative being the lead villains of Brand
That's
New.
you, isn't it?
I thought you were about to say they get in their own movies. I'm like, no.
No. These are the rumored villains that came out this week for Brand New, this last week or two for Brand New Day, which is fantastic because Mr. Negative is a Brand New Day timeline comic book introduced character.
Just take the Spider-Man video game and turn and make them into a movie with Tom Holland. Perfect. Done. That gets you Mr. Negative, a great Mr. Negative storyline.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm all for Mr. Negative. It's one of the more interesting takes that they can do with the Spider-Man, especially if they want it to be very street level, very low key, very non-MCU, non-cosmic. I think Mr. Negative would be a great person to bring in.
Do you know what after watching? I literally just finished watching Homecoming before. Like, I was watching it alongside while watching Dynamite. I was watching it at the same time.
Did we all watch this today?
Well, Andre's watched it a couple times this week.
Ed and I just watched it today.
I just watched. Dude, I've watched this movie probably 20 times. I honestly didn't watch it. I was planning to watch it. I kept planning to watch it, then watch something else, and then I watched it this evening. But
when I asked you what the plot was and if this was the one with Vulture, I was like, I better watch this movie again.
We'll get it, but like, I was just sitting here watching this movie. The principal in this movie is play a guy. I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays Chimney in 911. I would absolutely imagine if he became Mr. Negative. The principal just strikes back at Peter Parker and becomes Mr. Negative. There we go. That's your Mr. Negative right there. Because I think he'd be a perfect Mr. Negative.
I mean, yes, but no, I don't think that's going to happen. And the principal is it is Kenneth Choi.
Kenneth Choi. There you go. He's great.
And the fun thing about Kenneth Choi is he played both his grandfather and the grandson in the exact same roles. On one of he's one of the Halloween Commandos from the first Captain America movie.
Yep, and Agent Carter.
Yep.
Pretty sure.
And the last piece of news that we have to talk about is it just happened within the past 2 hours. I don't know if it's cryptic or if it's something we should take any note of, but Chris Hemsworth released a statement talking about his time playing Thor. And he said, playing Thor has been one of the greatest honors of my life. For the last 15 years, I've held Mjolnir and then Stormbreaker as the god of thunder. But what's made it truly special was sharing it with all of you. Your passion, your cheers, and your love for this character have meant everything to me. Thank you for making my journey through the MCU unforgettable. Next up, Doomsday.
Troll job.
I hope so, because it felt very like adieu. Like, do you know what I mean?
Again, it could be anything. He could be dead. He could be dying in Doomsday, or he could just be. Because again, Chris Hemsworth has been known to fuck with people in previous things. So I could see him being just a pure troll job, just to fuck with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he gets social media. He gets it, so it's quite possible.
Yeah,
100%.
and like I said, it's entirely possible that it means nothing, and it's just him saying thank you, just to, like you guys say, just to fuck with people.
Yep.
But it's interesting to note that he's on the set of Doomsday, and he's like, I've done this for 15 years, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like the kind of words of a guy who might be looking to give who just decided that he's no longer playing Thor when rumors of a Thor 4 coming. Sorry,
or just
Thor
perhaps
5.
his final scene as Thor, and you're like, uh-oh. Yeah.
Again, there's all these different, because again, they could be looking to reset the unit. Because again, a lot of what we're looking at after Secret Wars is an MCU reset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they looking to put a new person in theory? But are they looking to put a new person into that position? Are they looking for, you know what I mean? There's always things. Hi, Zach. But there's always those things. Because it could just be the last time we play Thor, but it's not the end of Thor. It could be a new Thor coming in the future. We don't know. Again, whatever it is, I'm happy he's been our Thor.
Yeah.
And soon enough, Ragnarok.
I was gonna say I've been rewatching. There's a YouTube channel that chronicles the MCU step by step with rumors and reports, and they go over all the different Comic-Con footages and stuff like that, and they put everything into the phases that they happen in. It is called Prime's Theater, and it's the MCU Complete Retrospective, and there are 4 different versions of it. And lately, I've been rewatching phases 1 and 2 because that's the time where we're getting some of the crazy rumors and other things that they were talking about. And it was fun how they were and then they got unknowns like Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, and I'm like, good God, how old do I feel where those names, to think those names were unknown actors when they got cast for these roles, relatively unknown actors. And now they're literally
die. It's fine.
and now they're literally $10 million plus a movie actors that are the most sought after in all of Hollywood.
Yeah. That's just life.
It's nice.
It's life.
It's nice to see. All right. Unless there's anything else in terms of news,
I would like to talk about the EA cancellation of the Black Panther video game.
There you go. Hold on. We'll adjust the screen.
I don't need. No, we don't. No. This doesn't need to be a thing. But yeah, EA announced that they canceled the Black Panther video game, and in conjunction with that also closed Cliffhanger Games Studios, which is pretty upsetting as someone who has a lot of friends working in the gaming industry, to see entire studios being closed, especially when EA just laid off 300 people last month, and closed a bunch of unnamed games have been canceled, and the Titanfall 3 adjacent game or whatever it was. But yeah, EA canceling that and closing Cliffhanger Studios, which only opened 2 years ago to specifically make the Black Panther game, is pretty upsetting. They're not confirming numbers. They're saying it's not as many as the 300 last month, but literally that could be 299 for all we know, right? So
that would be corporate speak.
Yeah,
I did
and
read in
there is. Go ahead.
In the IGN article, they did the person in charge did say that some people will be shifted around into filling positions that were left open due to the recent layoffs. So.
Yeah, they're closing the studio, and they're also laying off people in their mobile department as well. So there'll be definitely multiples. And also there's some rumors in the back end of EA also laying off some more people next month as well. So it's pretty upsetting. But I mean, the Marvel talk was literally just the Black Panther movie, because I was really looking forward to that. But we still have the one where with Captain America, right? That hopefully will
I
come
believe
out.
that's still coming out. Yes,
that's Skydance doing.
Yeah.
1942, I believe it's called.
43.
43?
43.
Something.
Yeah, I think it's
1940 something.
Yeah. And I think it's you get to play as both Cap and Black Panther in that one.
And it'll be T'Chaka. And that'll be T'Chaka.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not even T'Chaka, it's T'Chaka's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's T'Challa's grandfather is who we're getting to play as.
I'm excited for it. That's the one that I've been waiting for. I was excited for the Black Panther game because that's one of my favorite Marvel franchises that we have, and I was kind of looking forward to playing that. So, all right, Spider-Man: Homecoming releases in 2017. It is the 16th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, directed by John Watts, who does the entirety of the first 3 Spider-Man movies. As we call it, the Home Trilogy: Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. In February 2015, Marvel Studios and Sony reached a deal to share the film rights for Spider-Man, integrating the character into the MCU, and Holland was cast as that, and then he was included into Civil War at the very end of the filming. They were able to sneak him in there and be able to put him in there. Principal photography for this movie started in Atlanta in June of 2016. They concluded with filming in Berlin in October of 2016. So not too bad in terms of filming portions. It opened on June 28th, 2017, and the premiere was on June 28th, 2017, and it opened July 7th as part of the Phase 3. It has an all-star cast that rivals pretty much any Avengers movie when it comes to the names, at least now. Maybe not so, some of them maybe not so much then, but definitely now. Tom Holland playing Peter Parker, Michael Keaton playing Adrian Toomes, Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, Marisa Tomei playing Hot May Parker. I say Hot May Parker because the movie makes sure that you very much know that that's how they want her referred to. There are way too many references to that to make it known that that wasn't something they were trying to do. Jon Favreau, of course, returns as Happy Hogan. Gwyneth Paltrow returns as Pepper Potts, at least for 30 seconds. Zendaya is here playing the newest version of MJ, otherwise known as Michelle Jones in this movie. Donald Glover plays Aaron Davis. Jacob Batalon plays Ned. Tony Revolori plays Flash Thompson. And, of course, Laura Haria plays Liz, the most anticlimactic romance in all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Romance can stay out of my movies. That's fine.
I
mean,
that is the only part of this movie I don't care for is his whole romance with Liz. It's like I get it.
It's non-existent.
I understand, but I understand what it is. I was a 15-year-old boy. I was very awkward. I was very like I had a crush on a girl, but I was just very, very, very much a loser, and it just didn't work out for me. So I feel for Peter in the first. I understand Peter in the first half, but it's when he gets the girl that I'm like, I don't understand you. And
There's another
I don't
clip for you,
understand.
Astrid. I was a really, really awkward 15-year-old loser. Like, it's just like...
I was.
Can we talk about the fact that Michael Keaton in this movie played a third winged character? Because he played Birdman at one point in one of his movies. Here he is the Vulture. And of course he is best
technically
known.
he hadn't played Birdman. I think Birdman would come out after this. Didn't it?
Okay, so
I think. I could be wrong. I think.
At this point he has now played 3 bird-related films.
I was wrong. I apologize.
Birdman was before. Yeah.
I apologize, Bobby. Thank you.
I trust new rock stars when they tell me it was before. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it's correct. But he also, as all of us will know, he is indeed the third best Batman.
Okay. I really need to know, who do you think is better than him?
Christian Bale, and believe it or not, George Clooney. I much prefer Clooney Bat to Keaton Bat.
Affleck, Keaton, and then everybody else.
No, I think
You guys are all wilding out here today.
so here's the thing.
Affleck, Keaton, and everybody else.
Because you've got a 50-50 some of these with their portrayals of and their ability to blend in as Bruce Wayne and then being able to be the Batman.
I also think there's a difference between the best Bruce Wayne and the best Batman.
I agree, but when you're talking about the best Batman, you have to do the collective whole.
Yeah, and it's Ben Affleck, then Michael Keaton, then everybody else. Because Christian Bale was the worst.
Oh God, no! I love. I think
his Batman is incredible. His Bruce Wayne is terrible.
I love Christian Bale's version of Bruce Wayne. I think that was fantastic. Best Batman, Michael Keaton. Best Bruce Wayne is Bale.
Guess what? I'm getting 2 Christmases when these two get divorced. Just so you know.
Hey, just wait for DC talk this summer when Superman comes out. It's gonna be fun.
My God, that's gonna be.
And
then,
the DC whenever DCU Rebound comes out and we go back to the 1970s for the first ever Superman or something. I don't know.
I love the Donner movies. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the Donner movies.
I'm down for DC. I'm down for the DCU Rebound once MCU Rebound is over.
Those might be harder to find, but we'll see what we can do.
I have them all. I'll make sure you can see them all. Don't worry.
All right. Let's go ahead and start with, of course, the Empress and her thoughts on, in general, thoughts on Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Andre is waiting for this because he already warned me that you think this is mid at best. Am I correct?
Very much so.
You are wrong. And I loved this movie. I thought Tom Holland was perfect, even though he was much, much older than the Peter Parker that he was playing. But he totally embraced that nerdy 15-year-old boy. But I'm in love with Ned. Like, Ned is my everything in this movie. And Michael Keaton is just incredible as Vulture. So, yeah, I loved this movie.
All right, so I'm going to defend myself a little bit here before I let Andre talk glowingly about this movie. I understand I'm willing to hear it. I understand that I am in the minority on this take. I find this movie very mid. The funny thing is, I think that the character portrayals are so good by everybody. I just think that the movie, a whole, is a bit of a clusterfuck, where they don't really know what they're doing. because they're telling like 4 stories at once, and none of them really ever come together. Because you've got the Spider-Man Tony story, you have Tom Holland Spider-Man just, trying to figure out how to be Spider-Man and trying to be an Avenger. Then you have the Vulture story, and then you have the high school antics portion of this movie. And it's so mid. There are some really great parts. There are some really funny things. I think Tom Holland is indeed the best Spider-Man of the 3. He is indeed the best Spider-Man. I think he does this so well. But at the end of the day, and the problem is that the other movies that you compare this to are the other Spider-Man in this trilogy. Each movie progressively gets better as you go. Yes, absolutely.
No.
I
1, 2.
No. 3, 2, 1. I so much enjoy the story as we get to learn more and more about these characters. They get better and better for me. So I always find this movie so hard. This is only the 4th time I've ever watched this movie in its entirety. It rivals Eternals as the least watched movie in the MCU for me.
I thought you were gonna bring quality level. Fuck you.
No.
Again, Eternals is a well done movie. It's just way too fucking long.
I think you were talking about how this movie doesn't know what it is, and I think that's what I find so charming about it, is because we didn't need an origin story again. We didn't need an entire movie focused on Vulture. We didn't need an entire movie based on any one of these 4 things that you pointed out. I think it needed to be a bunch of mini stories that all came together as one story.
And they all, as much as I know you said they don't come together, but they do. The Peter and Tony relationship, that along with his coming to become the Spider-Man, it comes together all through the movies, and then by the end he realizes he doesn't have to be the superhero Avenger. He can just be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man by the end. The Vulture storyline works in perfectly with Peter because it works into his high school life where it all crosses in, and he finds out that it's his girlfriend's dad. It all comes together in the end. It all meshes back in. It's 4 stories that just eventually just go into one big tie-up. In my personal opinion.
And I think the fact that Spider-Man / Peter Parker, whatever we wanted to talk about, grew up so much in one movie, and just how everything came together for him and how many things happened in his external, like outside of the Spider-Man life. Like, he grew up so much from the beginning of the movie to the end, just in the way he looked at life. And I loved that.
Like I said, there's a lot to like in this. Like I said, I like a lot of this movie. Every time I watch it, I find myself doing anything but watch the movie. It's one of those movies that for the life of me, I can't seem to... I tried watching this for this show. So we always, plan these out so I have at least, 2 weeks to watch these movies. And inevitably, I always watch them the day of the show just to make sure that... But most of them I watch at least once in the 2 weeks before, like when we announce we're doing it, and then we have 2 weeks before the show happens. I normally watch the movies at least once or twice during those 2 weeks, and then I watch it the day of so that I'm fresh, so that I can talk about the things that happen during the movie. I tried watching this movie 4 times, and I couldn't get past the 15-minute mark in any of the first 3 showings of this movie. For the life of me, this movie, for some reason, just
next time, Ed, next time you start this movie, just go straight to the 20-minute mark and watch it from there.
I mean, that might be what I have to do. Like I said, I understand I'm in the minority on this one. I understand that I'm probably wrong. But for me, this is really just a ho-hum Marvel movie at the end of the day.
I find it a very charming movie. Overall, I really do love this movie. And again, I'm not okay. I'm going to say this. I don't like 2 quite as much as 1, but it's still an amazing movie. But because 3 is just so overarching that nothing compares anymore. 3 was just perfection of cinema. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me feel every emotion that I'm supposed to feel in life through a movie. But this movie, I just love the story of it. I love that it's still him just being a regular kid trying to balance it with Spider-Man. Where you get to 2, it's just so much more. It's all about Spider-Man. It's like, oh, and I have this shit I have to deal with on the side. It's what it feels. But this feels so much more cohesive in how he is trying to balance his life with being Spider-Man, and how he's quit band, but then he quit the debate team, but then he comes back to the debate team because it's going to benefit him being a Spider-Man. And again, I love the way he juggles it all in this movie so well.
So well?
Yeah.
So well? He quits everything and abandons everybody other than trying to do his Spider-Man thing because he's trying to prove a rich billionaire that he can be the next Avenger.
And over the movie, he learns to embrace the things that are important in his life. And by the end, he realizes he doesn't have to be an Avenger. That's why this movie works so perfectly. And then he learns to balance his life.
But none of those things would have still been there for him if this were real life as opposed to a movie.
And if this was real life, he wouldn't be Spider-Man because spiders don't magically give you superpowers in real life. This is fantasy.
There we go. I was waiting for that part.
Fantasy is what we do.
Quiet you and your logic. You don't need that here. Don't judge Ed. You don't understand Spidey problems. I don't understand Spidey problems. It's almost like they named the movie Spider-Man and then tried to focus 3/4 of the movie on this kid named Peter Parker. It's like the movie Spider-Man.
I feel like Ed was born an adult. I feel like Ed doesn't know how a teenager should feel. I feel like he was born an adult.
I think Ed forgets what it was like to be a teenager.
That's probably more likely. But
I mean, that's not an age joke because we know.
Yeah, I know. We know.
I totally remember what it's like to be an awkward teenager. So yeah.
I was a big old loser. I was gonna say, I remember being an awkward teenager. I was a boring kid. Like I think the things is that like the things he does in this are things I didn't do. I went to high school. I came home. I did my shit, and then like I played video games or I did something outside.
Well, I mean, you weren't Spider-Man. We understand. But what else does he do? What else does he do other than being part of the debate team?
Go to the parties, part of the debate team. He was apparently in the band.
Okay.
He's doing this Stark internship, to call it what you will, but he's constantly doing things, and he was constantly go. Like that's not who I was as a kid. But again, that's really not like here nor there for why I don't like the film. Like I said, I just find the film to be, in general, it's just it. When this becomes a short, I expect a picture to flash on the screen with a child with a bottle of Gatorade in his hand with written on it Gatorade. So
Ed's adult face pasted on a child.
Yep. We're constructing this short
like the
as
Boss
we go.
Baby, like the Boss Baby, but with Ed's head.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about we've talked about how great Tom Holland is in this because Tom Holland is sensational.
Absolutely
incredible.
Like,
yeah.
He's the
I
best.
actually had to look up how old he was in this movie because I find it very hard to believe that he was 21. 21.
I thought he was 24. Jeez, that's even worse.
Playing a 15-year-old, and I was like, okay.
But
I'm familiar with your game, Tom Holland.
Toby was what, 26, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Think about the 90s. We had 90210 with a bunch of kids playing 16 who were like 35.
Yes, that's true.
Well, one of them was the guy who made its daughter, so that made it a little bit easier. Let's talk about the villain of the piece, Adrian Toome's Vulture.
Oh, I thought you meant Liz.
Well, she's the other villain, but we'll get to her later.
Oh, dude. Like I love Michael Keaton. Again, I love him from his portrayals as Batman. And then I didn't see his 2 Batman movies until after I saw Forever and Batman and Robin. I didn't see them until after I saw those movies because I was a very stupid child. Because I thought Batman started with Forever. But dude, he's such an amazing actor. Like he watch him in Birdman, watch him in so many other things he's done. He has comedic timing up the wazoo. His seriousness, he's so freaking good at being just an amazing serious actor. Him being Adrian James was absolutely perfect, and I think it's one of the best villains we've seen portrayed in all of Marvel, in my opinion.
I think that the older he gets, the better he gets. And I think that's because he knows who he is. Do you know what I mean? So like he's taking on roles that he wants to do and he's committed to them. So I mean, you see him in this movie and I mean, the Vulture aside, the dad mode of Michael Keaton is incredible. Like the don't mess with my daughter. I want to have the dad talk. Like he had it all. Like I was like, yep, that's a dad. 100% dad mode right there.
That's just pure life experience right there for him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That scene in the car is Michael Keaton's best scene in this entire movie. I think that scene in the car is the best version of Adrian Toomes. And I kind of wish we would have gotten to see a little bit more of it throughout the movie. I wish there would have been a little bit more dad mode. Here's this is the thing. It's like every part of this movie, I'm like, you can cut certain things from this movie to make it a little bit more streamlined to kind of make all of this better. Like, I just feel like there are certain things here, like Peter's constant trying to figure out, how he does what he does, or the 20-minute thing of him figuring out the suit and talking to.
That could have been like 5 to 7 minutes. I will admit that was a little long.
Because it feels like it's almost an entire arc of the movie, and I'm just like, good God, are we done with this yet? Like, I get that it's important to know that this suit has 10 million different things going on, but couldn't we have done this in a slightly different way that's a little bit more interesting than Peter in an empty room talking to Betty Ross? Because those that don't know, the voice of Peter's AI in this is Liv Tyler.
No,
believe.
it's not.
No.
It's oh my God, I can see her, but
I know she played Betty Ross. Am I getting the wrong Betty Ross then?
Pulling up the thing. It's my blanking.
Yeah.
Everyone on the internet, quick.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah. Yes, there we go.
So it's the other. Okay, I just had the wrong Betty Ross. Jennifer Connelly. It's the Betty Ross in the movie that we don't talk about. The Hulk movie we don't talk about. That's the Eric Bana movie, correct?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's why I forgot. So like Betty Ross, I'm like, oh, that's Liv Tyler. No, wait. The other one.
Wrong one. Dude, she's married to Paul Bettany. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, she is indeed married to Paul Bettany.
Married to the Vision.
John Favreau plays Happy Hogan here, and I think he does.
I love him so much.
Yeoman's work.
Simply great. Like every time he shows up, like in the early movies when he was directing, even putting himself in there, it worked out so well. Yes, please, more dad jokes. Honestly, I could have done more with that scene. But yeah, like every time Favreau shows up, he's good. Like he was a great crux. He was a great part of Iron Man 3, what he needs to do in there, even though he was out for part of it. He was still so good in what he put in there. Like I think the dude is so good in every appearance he's made. And dude, how much better he gets in like his arc in 2 and 3 are just that much better.
And I love his timing. He's just so good. The way he delivers things, and he's definitely that person that holds all of it together in how he uses his banter off of everybody else as well. And the whole like the babysitting assignment that he had basically in this entire movie, and he's just so over it. Like he's doing the job because he has to, but he just does not want anything to do with it. You can tell.
Yeah.
Well, and him and Ned on the phone when Ned's calling him and he's trying to get a hold of it. And he's
just hangs up.
perfection. Just no.
Yeah.
I'm an associate of Peter Parker. No.
The other one thing I want to talk about with Jon Favreau here is it's so interesting to see Jon Favreau's continued involvement and how much he cares about what he started in this, considering after the issues that they had after Iron Man 2, not being part of Iron Man 3, not getting to direct the Avengers, and getting passed over for
that was a private conversation, Ed. Did you not pay attention to that part?
Yeah. But all of that,
he says to
yes,
Tony, that was a private conversation.
Yes, that is indeed a private conversation that we're not supposed to talk about. But all of the things, like normally that would end up with people never wanting to work with people again. That would make, all of these different, it would make life harder for him to continue to be part of all of these things. Every time Tony's here and needs a Happy Hogan, John's there. Every time Kevin Feige wants to do one of these look backs at, the entire MCU, he always favorably features Jon Favreau every time because the two of them continue, no matter what issues they had between the networks and the studios and everything else. He was an anchor being of this entire MCU, and he was the one who was always there when they needed.
And isn't he working with Filoni now with all the Star Wars stuff?
Yeah,
he's over there doing Star Wars now. So, like, if the relationship was repaired enough that they put him as the number, essentially have him as the number 2 in charge of the Star Wars universe right now. So,
I think he's number 1. I think he's Filoni is the creative head. Filoni is the creative head. Filoni is the creative head. While I think Favreau deals more with the studios, deals more with publicity, deals more with all of that.
But
they're doing.
He's your Feige over there, is what I would put Filoni as. Yeah,
I was gonna to take it to DC because you talked about the new DC version. It's the James Gunn and his partner thing, where Jon Favreau is the other guy, Peter Seraphim, where he's dealing with all the networks, he's dealing with making all the deals, and he's leaving for the most part. Filoni and Gunn are the ones making decisions creatively, trying to make sure that they do the best thing that they can. And then Favreau, and it's great. Like I said, I think that's sensational because how many times in Hollywood have we heard about these things doing this? Like, how many people have Marvel kicked out of the MCU that have never come back and never get talked about? I mean, Edgar Wright, nobody talks about Edgar Wright anymore, at least in terms of his MCU stuff, because Ant-Man with under the Edgar Wright thing never got made. Josh Whedon doesn't get talked about when it comes to the MCU much anymore because the creative issues they had after Avengers 1 and 2 and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love that Favreau's still always here. No matter what happens, Jon Favreau's. I mean, hell, he was in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, no matter what happens, when they need him, Favreau is there to do whatever is necessary.
And he was in every season of What If.
Yep.
He was in all 3 seasons. So yeah, again, I'm happy that they have. I'm happy he has been able to continue this relationship with Marvel. And again, it doesn't hurt that he's one of the Star Wars creators. That doesn't hurt either.
We get Zendaya playing Michelle Jones, MJ. I would start with Peggy on this, but Andre had such a visceral reaction to it. I said Michelle Jones, MJ as Zendaya when I was reading the cast list. I just want to get his.
No. My reaction was to the character, whoever you said before. I was reacting to something. It wasn't. I really like her, but again, this is her least prominent of any of the movies. This is kind of more your introduction to MJ. This is your introduction to this character.
We don't even realize she's MJ till basically the end. Officially MJ. Because she's known as Liz, right? Or not Liz. She's Michelle. Yeah.
Michelle Jones.
Michelle. MJ.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. Sorry, I was gonna pass it to Peggy. I thought Andre was done.
I don't know I can't remember what I was reacting to, but it wasn't to her. I love her. I think she's great. Absolute perfection in this role. It still blows my mind. It's like, why couldn't it have just been Mary Jane? But I'm okay with it.
I think because everyone has it in their head that Mary Jane is either a redhead or a blonde, and you know what I mean, and this and that and the other thing. So they gave her a bit of a revamp, right? So
yeah, that was exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to do a different version of MJ, where it's not necessarily the redhead who's obsessed with Peter Parker and is in love with Peter Parker as well. As he is.
And again, I didn't need her to be redheaded. I just don't see why she could have just been a brunette version of Mary Jane. I don't care. I do not give a shit if she's redheaded. I just was like, okay. But again, and then you think about this. This is not 616. This universe is its own. What is it? 10,010 or something.
No,
I don't remember.
This is 616. This is the 616.
It's not. It has been established that this is not 616. This is we have not seen a movie in 616 yet.
2 Christmases.
No, because they refer to it as 616 in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They officially designated it 616 in that movie. Because he says all the shenanigans going over there in 616.
I thought it was like 10. No, that's Deadpool's. It's like 10,010 or something.
Yes, that's the X-Men universe. I think it's 10,000,025.
Okay, that's why I didn't know. So, according to internet, originally back in 2008, it was Earth 199,099, and that's why it screwed me up because that was his original.
It's one with 5 nines. Yes, that was the original designation because technically, the comic book universe is the 616.
Okay, that's where I screwed up. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, but they have retconned that we are no longer in universe 159, one with 5 nines. We are now.
But again, there's very much different. The MCU 616 does not need to be the exact same as the comic book 616. Just let's go with who cares. I just was like, why couldn't she have been Mary Jane? Just a brunette Mary Jane. Who cares?
So my opinion on that, on why, besides the whole blonde redhead situation, is that we know Mary Jane to be in love with Peter Parker, right? And we don't really see that in this movie until the very end when she gives him the doe eyes, right? So I think she's not really MJ until she's MJ.
Yeah. Because it's right after she refers to herself, when they refer to her as MJ. Which she gave herself the own nickname, by the way. Yeah,
so
she did. She's like, my friends call me MJ, and he's like, what friends? And she was like, well,
you said you didn't have any friends. Well, I do now. So you gave yourself your nickname. Okay.
Yeah, and then Peter walks away, and that's when she gives him the doe eyes, and that's when
she's MJ.
That's when she's MJ. Exactly. Yeah. I love that.
Other than that, she's probably one of my favorites besides Ned in this movie. I mean, obviously Peter Parker. I mean, he's incredible, Tom Holland. But I identify, like, as much as you guys were like, I was the nerdy 15-year-old boy, I was MJ. I was the smart, quiet, nerdy girl. So yeah, I loved her character. I was like, yep, that's me on the debate club, doing stupid shit and not talking to people. Yep, that was me.
Hanging out in detention, drawing people.
To be fair, I was very social, but I was also like the nerdy kid when all my friends were like hyper social. I was, the nerdy of the social kids. So.
And speaking of, we'll go ahead and let Empress Peggy continue to have her love fest with Jacob Batalon playing Ned.
I love him. So he is everything I want from a sidekick in a Marvel movie. And so not only does he love Star Wars, which I am in love with, he wants to build his giant Death Star, which he immediately smashes on the floor when he finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, which I had a big gasp moment when I was like, oh my God, that took forever. So the Lego, the Star Wars, I was in love with him. And the fact that he just wanted to be the sidekick. He was happy to be the guy in the chair, and he got to be the guy in the chair. And he was just like the best friend and just wanted to be happy and be part of it. I mean, he even had this moment where he was like, I really want to thank you for the opportunity for letting me be part of your journey. And I was like, yeah, like I love him so much.
Yeah, I think they cast perfectly. I thought Ned was fantastic. He is the glue that holds the Peter Parker version of this storyline together in such a fantastic way. My favorite scene from him isn't necessarily the dropping of the Death Star, which is great. It's the party. They go to the party and Peter goes off and he's trying to get a hold of him, and he finally gets a hold of Peter, and Peter's like, all right, I'm on my way back. He's like, you might not want to do that, buddy.
When I say penis, you say Parker. This is so good.
I love that in this movie. Like he's the best friend. I can say this, like, he's a kid I can identify with most in this movie. He's just a guy's friend. He's just a random kid who likes to put together Legos and shit. That would like that. Ned feels like the kid I was in high school. Just random there again. Like I can like the Lego, all of it. I love Ned so much. My favorite scene though is during the like he's going after Vulture, and he gets into the room and he spins in the chair. He just goes, guy in the chair.
Yeah, that's why I was making the reference.
Like,
got
guy
in the chair.
It was perfect. And like I cannot wait for Spider-Man 5 or 6 when he eventually you find out he had to drop out of MIT because he was down on his luck, and now he's now he's robbing banks, and he's gets the Hobgoblin suit, and he becomes Hobgoblin.
And I think when he first finds out and he's asking like a million questions, as you would if you found out your best friend was a superhero, like, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And when he's trying to debate whether he needs to tell Liz, he's like, yeah, you should tell her. And he's like, no, I don't think so. Can I tell everyone? Like, it's just like, that would be me. I'd be like, can I tell everybody you're Spider-Man? Like, yeah, like he was so good. So good.
And then we get to my favorite non-Spider-Man character of this movie, Tony Revolori playing Flash Thompson.
He's a Spider-Man character.
I understand why this could be interesting, but I think that Tony Revolori, it's such an interesting redone version of the Flash Thompson character. Because Flash Thompson, as we've all known, he is the jock. He is like the head of the school. And in this one, they do such a good job of making it make more sense in 2020, in 2015, 2016, 2017, when they're doing all of this, to make him a social media bully, to make him a rich kid, as opposed to the jock.
Yeah, he was the dude, bro. I mean, he had the popped collar. Like, he was the dude, bro. Yeah.
And I think
he's everything you would think. Everything you would think Flash Thompson would be in this era. Like, you wouldn't think the bully makes more sense in this era now. That's the way I would imagine Flash Thompson now.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they didn't give him a storyline for why he is the way he is, and it kind of goes on to what Bobby's saying here about how he went onto a YouTube show, Movie Fights, before the movie came out to promote it and do all that stuff. He also did honest trailers at one point for, I believe it was for the second, I think it was for this movie in promotion for the second movie. And one of the things he said is they didn't give him a
backstory
for why he is the way he is, and he actually created the backstory that is in this movie going forward with movie 2 and 3 about his parents never having time for him, so he becomes this douchebag bully because of the fact that his parents would rather give him money than attention, and so he does all of these things to do that. And the way he picks on Peter in this is terrible. But I just love how it is so much more now than when you go back and you watch the 2000 Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and you see Joe Manganiello trying to go ahead and be the jock version of Flash Thompson.
That was Joe Manganiello. Jesus, I always forget that.
I was going to say, did you forget that Joe Manganiello was the guy?
Until you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck it. I always forget because he's barely in it, right? His Flash Thompson is there for like a cup of coffee and he's gone. Like,
which is why I love Tony so much more, is because Tony is such a vital part of trying trying to run Peter down that it just continues to make it so fantastic. I love Tony Revolori in this. I think he did great, and I think he made himself a pivotal part of every Spider-Man movie going forward because of the fantastic work he does here in this.
I agree. And then like it's the second one where he's like, is it the second one? The third or second one where he's called Spider-Man's best friend, and the third one where he has this book about me and Spider-Man. Yeah. It's the evolution of his delusion of his relationship with Spider-Man is absolute perfection. And then the third one, now he knows it's Peter, and it's just like trying to sell a book and all this shit. And then like he comes in like acting like they're friends in the cafe, and they kind of blow him off, and you see him kind of like leave, kind of like brokenhearted. Like the evolution of his character through all these movies is absolute perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Marisa Tomei plays May Parker, Aunt May, as we said earlier, Hot Aunt, because that's, I really, like, I get why they wanted to make it noticeable, but at the same time, did I need 15 references to it in the first 10 minutes of this movie?
Okay, so my point is, like, I look at this movie. We have 15-year-old Peter Parker in this movie, right? Mm-hmm. If even by calculation, even if his mom and his dad were significantly older than him, Marisa Tomei took this role on at what, the age of like 50 or something like that is when she took this role on, or something like that in the early 50s.
Roughly.
The age gap makes total sense. Where if this had been set, like when you have like late 67-year-old Aunt May and you have 15-year-old Peter Parker, it's more like great Aunt May. It's my grandfather's sister, or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Again, the age gap makes sense, and they got Marisa Tomei. She's hot. Whatever. It's what it is.
There's actually a reason for why they casted somebody like Marisa Tomei, and it's a very interesting one. And of course, it comes from Stephen McFeely, the writer of one of the two writers from Civil War, and he said that in the MCU they were trying to make Peter as realistic and natural as possible, and that's partly why his aunt isn't 80 years old. If she's the sister of his dead mother, why does she have to be 2 generations ahead?
Yeah.
Yes.
A generation ahead is more enough. And you really, she took some things on the 50. She's probably playing 45, right? So
yeah. I just
she was 52. That's what I was looking up. So she was 52 when this came in.
Yeah, and she was like I said, I love her in these movies. I just wish they wouldn't. It feels weird, but she's the only female character in the entire Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 who feels like they're sexualized in any way, shape, or form.
Because the other ones are children. I mean, are supposed to be children.
To an extent, yeah, I get that.
You're not gonna sexualize the children characters. Outside of the not really in the Ned relationship, but that in
I just think that, I agree. 2017 wasn't that long ago, so you can't say, well, it was what we did in the day. I just think you see her. It's Marisa Tomei. She's hot as hell. We don't need a million references, especially like, hey, May, you wearing something skimpy? It's like, really? Like,
if it bring up to Tony's comments in Civil War and what Tony says about her in this movie, it's fine, but because so many people refer to his hot aunt, it's weird.
Yeah, because
but I also see it from the other side too, where Tony and or Peter's friends, like, I mean, how many of us have not said to one of our friends how hot one of their parents were at some point?
That is true.
I mean,
I would never be able to verbalize it to any of my friends if that were the case.
I've never directly said it. Said it to the friend, but I said
absolutely
me and my other friends talked about that friend's mom being hot. So, okay, I get it.
I mean, I could see, when there's one of those, I can see it from that side too. But at the same time, you're like, okay, once or twice, maybe there just seemed to be a lot of it, right? So
yeah. If maybe Ned made a joke and then Tony made his joke. When later on, that's fine.
Yeah, but you know, Ned basically refers to it where he like refuses to leave and wants to go to dinner with them. then when Peter and Marisa Aunt May do go to dinner, you have the waiter there. You have Delmar, the guy who made it when they were making the sandwich for him. They had that. You had Tony's 3 cracks plus the crack from Civil War. And remember, like we're talking about this, like things have changed drastically. Like MJ was overly sexualized in the early 2000 versions. And she's high school age child as well. So it's like,
yeah, but she's only like 17 for like 5 minutes in the movie.
2000 is a very different time than 2017.
I would agree.
To making movies.
I would wholeheartedly agree. I'm just surprised that there's still so much of it to Aunt May in 2017. Because I can't remember any, with the exception of Black Widow, and maybe Scarlet Witch. No, but Black Widow's in the movie. Scarlet Witch is by fans on the outside. There's no real references to anything like that, with the exception of Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow in any of the MCU. Which it feels out of place and weird. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but again, that's also a thing with the MCU. They didn't really push a lot of women in the MCU until much later on. But
yeah, thanks, Ike.
Yeah, that's also why you're looking at going, huh?
Yeah. Overall, this movie is, you know, if you take 2/3 of our suggestions, it's a great movie.
Yeah, mine and Peggy's, and then Ed's can go out the window.
Yeah.
You could be Team Peggy and just have 2 Christmases.
Yeah.
You're not getting 2 Christmases. We're staying together.
I'm absolutely getting 2 Christmases.
We are so staying together.
We're staying together for the kids. What are you guys doing?
We're staying together for the Empress of Marvel Talk.
Staying together so Peggy doesn't get 2 Christmases.
We can't break STG and Bobby Petito's hearts. We can't. We just can't.
It's too dark.
All right, guys. Time to play the fun game. Andre, this movie was a big movie for the MCU. How much did it make worldwide? Or domestic, depending on which one you want.
Let's go worldwide. I'm going to say like 759 mil.
Miss Peggy?
Let's go with 853.
Peggy wins again. The film got $874.4 million worldwide, $334.2 million in the United States and Canada, $546 million around the world. Just crossed over $880 million worldwide. Opening weekend debuted domestically at $117 million. So that would including the Thursday night previews. It did fantastic numbers. Yeah, it was indeed a banger of a movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 396 reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics.
I already know the numbers.
Yeah, we both know the number because we were talking about it earlier.
Screenshotted it to me earlier this day while getting mad at you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the question that we were like, how does Ed? Because he said you have to come on and defend me because Ed doesn't like this movie. So I was like, how bad is this movie?
No,
Do I just have a bad memory? So I looked up
Ed
the Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm like, how does he not like this movie? Look at this score.
Exactly.
I find it very.
Ed says it's a meh movie. I didn't say he said it was.
It is
a bad movie. He said I'm defending myself because you said you said it was a bad movie.
Okay. Fair.
I would take meh as relatively bad. I mean, let's put it this way: when we do, I know I said meh. I will agree. I said meh. I'm just saying, if you take meh as bad, which I would agree with, it's fine.
So for the audience, talk about the scores.
Rotten Tomatoes critic score was a 92, which is one of the higher numbers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. and it got 87% from the popcorn meter from over 100,000 reviewers of fans. Like I said, I understand I am in the minority when it comes to not enjoying this movie. I completely understand that. I accept it, and I agree that I'm in the minority. I have my opinion. I'm entitled to my wrong opinion.
Absolutely.
I like Thor 4. You hate it. It's I know I'm wrong, but I still like it.
Yeah.
Well, we
Some
can all
interesting.
agree the Hulk movie sucked.
So yeah, the Hulk movie is what it is. I just want to look up one thing. Spider-Man 2.
I did like the little bit of a reference towards the end of the movie where Peter doesn't believe that there's a whole bunch of media people there waiting to see him, and thinks it's another test because there's been a bunch of tests. But also the fact that Happy's been carrying around an engagement ring for like 8 years at this point, or whatever it was.
Yep.
And just loose in his pocket because that's what Happy would do.
Yeah, because he's Tony's man, and
yeah,
absolutely.
We need to tell them something. Oh, we could do this, and Pepper's like, no, we'll come up with something.
I understand people hate that movie. I like that movie. I'm crazy. I'm sorry, Bobby. I also don't like Moon Knight, so yeah, I'm crazy. I'm insane.
I do want to do something interesting here because I wanted to look up some numbers. Spider-Man. So the initial Spider-Man movie in 2002, Rotten Tomatoes score from the reviewers of 90, popcorn meter all these years later 67.
That's unfair. That's actually a good movie.
I wonder how much of that is current people reviewing a movie that's that old that did not stand the test of time.
Yep. Spider-Man 2. This is the one with Otto Octavius. 93 from reviewers. 82
makes perfect sense
for the fan base. Spider-Man 3. Andre, do you want to guess the reviewer's score of 260 reviewers for Spider-Man 3?
Well, not very many reviewers to start with.
I'm going to say like 98 because it feels like that's the way the reviewers are going in all of these Spider-Man movies. But I'm going to actually say like 72.
Peggy?
I'm going to go with 83.
63.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
The popcorn meter from the fan base has 250,000 plus reviews.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about with the.
The first one's a critic score. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to go with like 44.
Peggy?
I don't remember hating this one as much as you guys seem to imply that everyone hated it.
I don't hate it, but I know a lot of people hate it.
This is the symbiote suit one.
Okay, there we go. Because I'm just like, I don't remember which one this is. I'm so bad at it.
Dancing Peter Parker.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say 55.
51.
Okay.
And then to put it in perspective,
but again, I enjoy that movie. There's lots of things wrong with that movie, but I enjoy that movie. I still watch it when I rewatch a lot of those old. I rewatch it. It's inherently bad, but it's a good kind of bad, and I enjoy it.
And just to finish this out, we're now onto the Andrew Garfield movies. The Amazing Spider-Man, 71% from critics, 77% for the fan base.
Higher than I thought.
Pretty consistent.
Spider-Man 2, The Incredible Spider-Man number 2. I'm sorry, The Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Critics, 312 reviews, 50. Popcorn meter of 100,000 plus reviews, 64.
Yeah, I get it. The first one I think is a well done movie. The second one is kind of a mess with Electro. The Electro parts of it are good, but then you get Dane DeHaan as as Harry Green Goblin, and that's just terrible. Like, it's just bad. And then you get Paul Giamatti CGI'd in a rhino suit at the end. It's pretty bad.
Now, Peggy, we know that you're taking a hiatus from your creative works over here on the internets. But tell the people where they can find you on Twitter, as I'm sure you'll still be there doing all kinds of fun things.
Yeah, you know what? I am mostly going to be doing some work here with the Hive going forward for a little bit. I'm trying to bank some content so they have something to post while I am driving across this massive country of ours.
And by
yeah.
ours, she means theirs, which is Canada, not ours, which is the United
Well,
States.
there's two of us and one of you, so. And yeah, so you can find me on most social media. It's _Ophelia_Payne on most social media, and Ophelia Payne over on Blue Sky. But I would like to tell you a dad joke before we go.
Absolutely.
Since we were talking about dad mode. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh?
I'm not sure.
A handful.
It's tentacles. And since they only have 8, the first 2 were obviously testicles.
That's good. That's a good one.
That's for Bobby, because he needed a dad joke.
I can't even get into the right fucking folder.
Clip that, please.
Andre.
Hello, that's me. You can find me on stuff at that Canada guy or at that Canada dude. You can find me back here on Sunday, hanging out with the boys, talking the world in sports. Hopefully, I'll be talking about the 2 Game 5. I don't know. I haven't seen the scores from tonight. Did we get a Game 5 elimination tonight there, Peggy?
Oh, I don't know. Let me look while you're talking.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be talking about 2 Game 5 eliminations on Sunday, talking about the finals of Edmonton versus Florida. So we got Florida already in. That's one of my 2 predictions already in there, and Edmonton will be sending theirs up tomorrow night. So I'll be there talking sports with the boys, talking some F1 because it'll be the third week in a row. We got an F1 race at 7 a.m. before the stream goes live at 9 a.m. my time. It's just me and Bobby, so we'll be talking F1, talking the footy, talking NHL, talking sports, talking everything we love in all the world of sports. And wrestling usually creeps in there at some point. Maybe we're missing Mark. Maybe Ed will come back since Mark isn't there. You never know.
Mark's running from the grind.
Ed still owes us a video, but
it'll happen next winter when it was supposed to happen this year. Unfortunately, I was in the middle of dealing with it.
You could do it in the summer. I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not. I'm not taking the easy way out on that and doing it during the summer. This was supposed to be a winter-esque punishment. It deserves to be done in the winter time.
Find a walk-in freezer and you do it in there.
Peggy, for notice, just because you might.
It's also Bell Ball Day.
It's supposed to be an ice bucket challenge video that I'm of them for losing in football. So Sunday we will be celebrating as part of and Bobby's wife because it is their birthday. So absolutely. You can go ahead and find me right here on Twitter and Blue Skies at EdFries12584, twitch.tv/EdFries2002. The week of my hard-working week has not finished yet. I'll be back again tomorrow night on Bring Respect Radio with Bobby and Papa Smokes as we talk all things chaotic wrestling, Boston Brawl 4. It's a fun show. You can watch it on YouTube at Chaotic Wrestling. They had another great show. I really enjoyed it. Bobby really enjoyed it. We're excited to see what Papa Smokes has to think. You can go back and watch the Tipsy stream that I did last night, trying to figure out what the fuck Shawn Michaels was doing to me, as I hosted half the show on my own with alcohol. So that was indeed a show to watch. So you can go ahead and do that. Of course, if you want to check out our Battleground stuff, we had a preview and a post show with Blair from Grainmaker Podcast on the preview show. The Body Slam Besties, Amanda Savage and DC Hendricks joined us on Sunday for the post show. We're very excited with a big announcement that we're hoping to make this upcoming Tuesday. Something very big is going on for Taking Over. We are very excited. We have finalized the The deal is finalized, the contract is signed, and we're just waiting to make sure it gets a little bit closer before we announce it to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
You've got all the rights.
God, no. We would never in a million years.
And a sponsorship from Fireball.
I mean, I didn't show their logo, so I'm assuming that they're not going to go ahead and sponsor me on that one. But Bobby does know what's coming, and it is indeed a fun announcement to make. We are very excited for it. Keep your eyes out for that next Tuesday as we go ahead and put up the graphic and talk about it. We still can't believe what's going to happen is actually going to happen. But we'll see on Tuesday about that. Of course, you can catch me and Andre back here again in 2 weeks, as long as the Empress gives us her approval. I'm sure she'll give it to us over the next couple days. She'll let us know
will you
if
be
we
watching?
Can. Thor Ragnarok is the next in the series.
The best Thor movie.
That is a factual statement from Andre. The best Thor.
That is on the 11th?
Yes, that is on the 11th.
I may still be here, so maybe I'll leave my setup up and we'll hang out.
Like I said, if you want. And then just to continue going over the rest of our Marvel Talk schedule, on June 25th, that will be the next episode after the Thor Ragnarok special. That will be the 3-episode recap of Ironheart 1, 2, and 3. We will then be back every week, July 2nd, July 9th, and July 16th, to go ahead and recap the next 3 weeks of Ironheart. We will then be back that weekend, either the 12th or the 19th, to review DC's Superman. And then the following weekend after the last Ironheart episode, we will be back again to review all things Fantastic Four.
And then we'll let you know the schedule for when Rebound will return.
Yes, because after Fantastic Four, we will be back at some point with Black Panther. We're working on trying to get a guest for Black Panther. And we will continue with Phase 3 as we go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But thank you all for joining us. Thank you to the Empress for allowing us to have this wonderful episode. She is indeed the host of Marvel Talk. So make sure
I'd like to embrace my inner Ned when I say thank you so much for letting me part of your incredible journey.
Yes, you are indeed part of our incredible journey. You are the most important part of our incredible journey. Make sure that you go ahead and check out all of Peggy's content on The Hive and all of the fantastic content from all the fantastic creators that are part of The Hive, because there are some fantastic people as a part of that. But for myself, for Andre, for the Empress, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.